Alright, I'm back for our next problem. We are still in section 2.5 talking about how to use Venn diagrams to solve problems. Now we're going to do it with three circles or three sets. So starting off, read the prompt. 33 U.S. cities researched. We're talking about professional sports teams, symphonies, or children's museums. And then it provides information about each. So our first step once again, should be to label our sets. So let's talk about what three things that we are talking about here. As I look through the actual prompt, I notice we're talking about professional sports teams, symphonies, and children's museums. I say, okay, so I'm going to come down here and label my sets. Please understand, you have to do this, otherwise I don't know which is which when I grade. So, pro sports teams, sports. We'll put right there. Let's go ahead and put the symphony over here. MP, trying to get a P, H. And then we will go ahead and go down to our bottom set and label it as the children's museums. All right, so coming back up, once again, I'm going to start in the middle where all three occur. And as I look, 5 had all three. So I look to the middle of this Venn diagram and I put 5 people for the category of having all three: pro sports teams, symphonies, and museums. And I'm going to work my way up the list. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the next one I've got on up the list. It is 9, and these 9 have a symphony and a museum. So I look for symphony and museum. Symphony and museum is right here. Please understand, we don't want to put a 9 over here. That's as a result of the fact that these two should add up to be 9. And if I just entered a 9 right here, that would indicate 14 people had, or 14 cities had a symphony and a museum. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to apply the same logic that I used in the first part of the lesson and realized if these two add together to be 9, then 9 minus 5 will tell me how many cities only have a symphony and a museum, that being 4 would be entered into that. And it's the same game we played before. We'll roll around the circle and do the same thing. Turns out 11 had a sports team and a symphony. So I identify sports team and symphony and realize that these two should add to be 11. So if this is 5, 11 minus 5 ends up being 6, and therefore there are 6 in the category of pro sports and symphony. Notice how the two add together to be 11. We roll around and do the same thing throughout. So going through, I missed this one. 7 had a sports team and a museum. So we find pro sports and museum. That is right here. These two intersected. Now if there's a total of 7 and there's 5 here, that means there will be 2 over here in the pro sports and museum. So this is what I'm doing, similar to what we did before. And once we take care of each one of those areas, we will move into the individual circles. So moving on up the list, next thing I have is 15 have a museum. This indicates the entire circle of museum will have 15. So please resist the urge to just write 15 down here. That's not right. Once again, these 3, 1, 2, 3, and the bottom one will add together to be 15. So I need to add up the 2, the 5, and the 4, getting a total of 11, and realize if there's 15 total and 11 in those two categories, there are 4 cities that only have a museum. This is how I set each one of these situations up. And I will do the same throughout. Next thing, I will take care of the symphony. 17 cities had a symphony. However, as I investigate the symphony set, 6 plus 5 plus 4, or a total of 15 of those 17 are already accounted for. We need to take our 17 total, subtract out the 15 we already have to realize there are 2 cities that only have a symphony. Finally, the last thing we will do, we will look for the sports teams. It's 16 have a sports team, and therefore this whole circle will be 16. Well, 2 plus 5 plus 6 is a total of 13. And if there are 16 total, 16 minus 13 is 3. So 3 cities only have a sports team. Now we're almost done. But from your experience with the previous Venn diagram, you should understand we always have to take care of the universal set. To do that, we figure out how many total cities were researched. There were 33 cities researched, and we will add up all of the numbers that we have in order to figure out what occurs. Had a little mishap right there, so I'm going to erase a couple of things. Once again, total of 33 U.S. cities, and we need to figure out how many don't have a pro sports team, symphony, or a museum. To do that, we will add up all the numbers. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 5 is 13, plus 2 is 15, plus 3 is 18, plus 6 is 24, plus 2 is 26. 26 of those 33 we've already taken care of, therefore there are 7 left. And those 7 are in the corner because they don't have a pro sports team, a symphony, or a museum. This is how we take care of 3 sets on a Venn diagram.